There's been some controversy rolling out here more recently. It all surrounds artificial intelligence and how people's work is being used. Oh man, and it is with heavy heart that I share who it's from and how it surrounds it and how, well, we're kind of to blame for allowing this to happen. Also, find out a little bit more about great web hosts, as well as some great news rolling out from Derek Murphy, something that he's offering to the world 100% free. All that in today's self-publishing news for February the 13th of 2023. Let's just get right on into it. We're going to start it out right away. Great news, front loading it here. Just want to tell everybody that Kindlepreneur, always been a huge fan of the work that Dave Chesson and his team actually put into their website. And more recently, it was kind of a breath of fresh air to actually see this post that they put out about the best web hosting for authors, the good, the bad, and the heavy duty. And Dave kind of goes real in depth about one of his preferred services. And oddly enough, it is one of my preferred services. I didn't even know this, and this guy's my buddy, is SiteGround. Now, SiteGround is a fantastic web hosting service. If you're not familiar with web hosting, essentially that's the place that holds your website. So by going and using SiteGround, it is a bit more on the higher premium side. And Dave kind of goes in depth with, why it costs so much, but how it's worth it in the end. In fact, actually, he compares it to other avenues, including one of my least favorite avenues and one of the last avenues I actually had promoted, which was HostGator, Bluehost, Namecheap, and Hostinger. Now, I used Namecheap for getting my domain names, but I never heard of anybody actually using it for web hosting. So that was pretty interesting to hear. It was about $1.98 per month. But with that cheaper cost comes a cheaper service. And from what I'm reading from this article is there's not very much support on the back end of things. So great article, highly recommended. As per usual with all of our podcasts here, you'll want to go review the show notes. And just a quick heads up here, I've got to do a promotion here. Yes, that's right. Don't cringe too much here. If you're interested in getting web hosting with SiteGround right now, they're running a sale for 80% off all plans, which makes it dirt cheap. I didn't get that in my first year, darn it, and I should have waited for it. If you already are with SiteGround, they actually have a 50% off any kind of plan upgrades. Now, I can't upgrade any further than I have because I have the Go Geek plan, which means I can host multiple websites in one specific plan. But you want more information about that, visit dalelinks.com/SiteGround and get your web hosting set up with them today. You've got a stamp of approval from Kindlepreneur as well as self-publishing with Dale. I need a catchy name for like Kindlepreneur. That's really awesome. But maybe you guys and gals can come up with something pretty cool. Speaking of coming up with something pretty cool, the Alliance of Independent Authors, they're always putting out some great information and some intel, and they talk a little bit about what I'm going to discuss here later on regarding AI training rights, tucked away in Findaway Voices terms and conditions. I'll get to that a little bit later because this one, it's heavy. And I don't know who's to blame at this point, and I'm really kind of on the fence when it comes to all that. But let's focus on one of the avenues that they did discuss, which is Amazon finally adds the change to ebooks return policy. Now, if you've been following this podcast long enough, you will know that actually I had mentioned some point last year, and I think it was right around September, that Amazon said, hey, we're going to change our ebook return policy so that way we're not getting inundated with a bunch of false, returns. Because what was happening is people were buying an ebook, they were reading the entire thing, and then they were returning it and getting a complete refund, even though they had finished the book. Now, this was causing a lot of issues with authors losing royalties. I think a lot of readers don't realize that not every book that they're buying off Amazon is not some large trad pub company, even though I shouldn't justify it, even if it is a trad pub company. I think it's a scummy move to read an entire ebook and then go ask for your money back. If you're going to do that, just go to a library. Just go to a library because it doesn't cost you a dime and you're not hurting anybody that way. So at any rate, they said it was going to roll out this new ebook return policy late 2022. Nothing happened at the end of the year. Okay, so this new ebook policy was supposed to be if they read any more than 10% of an ebook, they couldn't get a refund. Well, finally, it did happen. Third week of January, Amazon said they were still working on it, and Amazon have now finally changed their returns policy to include the line that customers, quote unquote, may not be eligible for a refund if a book has been partially read or if we detect account abuse. Round of applause for Amazon. Thank you. Thank you, Amazon, for putting this into place. I really hope that any type of people that have been abusing that system, that it's retroactively, put into play. Like, you can probably see on your end of things, Amazon, the people that were repeat abusers. I know there's numerous people out there that used to really play around with refunds and returns over at Amazon with physical products. Well, now we see this ebook stuff happening. So I hope that some of these scumbags get their just desserts, and hopefully they, have to pay for those things that they were pretty much, illicitly getting refunds for. Garbage move. You're a garbage human being if you're doing that type of stuff. All right, let's move further forward here and talk about something also coming out from Amazon's headquarters. I did mention this in a previous podcast news segment, that the new Author Central profile has rolled out everywhere. They announced it via email this past week. It's official. I saw it in the dashboard, but now if you have not seen it, there is a new look. Now, there's a lot of people that love it. Now, there are a couple people that absolutely hate it. They detest it. Gone are the things like you don't have videos, you don't have images. It pretty much is you get a home page with the about the author, your most popular book, and all of your titles in one page. Now, it's kind of like just like broken out into different sections, so then you can click on each one of those books and go visit the book page. Now, there's also an about section. Of course, it's going to show your author picture as well as your bio, and of course, something really cool. I think it's neat. It's a nice little touch. It is your book recommendations. So if you have Author Central already set up, go into your Author Central account and set up any type of book recommendations that you have based on yours. So for instance, I talk about some of my book recommendations being my own books, as well as some of the books that I've actually enjoyed. So for instance, one of my favorite ones is David Gaughran. Love Amazon Decoded. Chef's kiss for his book, because it's probably one of my absolute favorite books about self-publishing. Love me some David Gaughran. The guy is funny as all get out. And then I was able to recommend one of my personal favorites, has nothing to do with self-publishing, just had to slip it in there, is Mick Foley's Have a Nice Day, A Tale of Blood and Sweat Socks. Love it. But anyway, all that to say this, that you can also have the other tab where it says all books, and it just shows you all the books. Now, this is only in the US right now. Stay tuned to this podcast, because I'm going to keep a close eye on if they're going to roll it out to other regions. For right now, don't panic. If you have videos that are up there, book trailers and some pictures and such, it's going out to the other properties outside of the US. I hope that they keep those things, because I thought it was a really nice touch. They even had it to where you could put your blog RSS feed into it. That's gone. You could put your Twitter feed into it. That's gone. I think they probably simplified it because they wanted to probably see, better book sales when people are visiting some of these pages. Moving a little further forward, I feel like this is redundant, but it's important that I do bring it up because it did happen in the last week. And it is, of course, the big announcement coming out from Drafted Digital and Smashwords. Now, Smashwords is owned by Drafted Digital. Both of them are aggregate publishing companies, meaning that they're kind of the middleman. They will distribute your book on your behalf and collect a share of the revenue that comes in from each one of those sales. But this was so exciting to me. I had to go live right as soon as I learned about it back this last Thursday. And the announcement is surrounding the latest acquisition for expanded library distribution using Palace Marketplace. Now, this is all put together by the Digital Public Library of America, the DPLA, and serving public libraries in the U.S. only for right now. Palace Marketplace is the only not-for-profit library ebook marketplace. Through its content management and delivery platform, Palace Marketplace's mission is to make it easier for libraries to quickly build their collections of high-quality indie books. What this means for you, let's just jump to the things that make the most difference to you. With more than 400 libraries who've already signed on, you get greater access to more readers, earn 60% of your book ebooks list price. You read that right. This is a significant increase over other library checkout systems. This is true. You get pennies on the dollar with a lot of those library checkout systems, although I'm a big fan of libraries, and I will continue to put my books into libraries because I am such a huge fan of them. The Palace app for iOS and Android gives readers a better chance of finding titles they desire because the app combines a library's typical disparate collections from different library aggregators into a single app. I'm sorry, I'm able to speak some days. No more opening multiple library apps to search for a single desired title to check out. So this is going to be starting the February the 14th. Now, here's the beautiful, brilliant news. If you're watching this right now, I'm going to be doing an interview with the former CEO and founder of Smashwords, Mark Coker, as well as one of the representatives from DPLA. This is going to be a live interview right on my YouTube channel and the YouTube podcast channel. You can find that at dalelinks.com/YouTube podcast. Come on over. It'll be after 2 p.m. I say after 2 p.m. because I just got to make sure everybody is all ready. I will send out a push notification to everybody, and we'll be able to ask both of them some of the implications, some of the expectations that we have when it comes to the Palace Marketplace. I already downloaded the app, but sadly, it's not available for my library system. But I'm going to ask DPLA, the rep from there, Micah, I'm forgetting Micah's last name. I'm going to ask Micah how we could probably get some of my local libraries onto the new app, because obviously it's brand new and they're having to expand out. So probably one of the best ways is to be an ambassador for the Palace Marketplace app. So that way we're able to get our books into local libraries. So again, a lot of this information is, of course, put over on Smashwords as well, so no sense in me being redundant. You know what is really, really cool? I found this very, very insightful in that Written Word Media is a book marketing platform where they actually will be, they share your book across a ton of readers. And recently, they actually shared some interesting data. And as inside a recent newsletter, they said Facebook ad costs per clicks are down. The marketing world is buzzing after watching what happened to advertising costs on Facebook at the start of 2023. The drop in cost of impressions and clicks means you're likely to get more people seeing your book at the same price, and our reader reach campaigns are taking full advantage. And so they actually will run some of these campaigns for you on your behalf. Obviously, you have to pay them in some capacity in order for them to do that. You can go look at writtenwordmedia.com to get more details. I'm not shilling for them. I've only used one of their services before. But here's really something interesting, and this is something else they put into their newsletter. They said over 32,000 new readers added in January. So this means they're able to reach even more readers. Okay, this is beyond the Facebook news that I gave you. Speaking of lower advertising costs, we've been adding new readers to our email lists at a furious pace in 2023. In January, we added 32,047 new readers across all our brands. So the winds are favorable for a strong promo performance in 2023, and no worries, our promo prices remain unchanged. I should be having an interview rolling out here sometime in March with one of the founders of Written Word Media, and we're actually going to be doing like a deep dive talking about where they came from, what people can kind of expect, and how they compare to some of their competitors that are out there. Farrell is the individual that you'll be able to meet. Farrell is just an absolute gem, a sweetheart of a man, and I can't wait for you guys to get that interview. Stay tuned, and that'll probably be perfect timing, so that way everybody can probably take advantage of some of the growth that's been happening in 2023 for Written Word Media. Hey, let's move a little bit further forward on this little item here of news, and that is that Fiverr. You guys have heard me talk about them ad nauseum, all right? And it's for good reason, all right? Yeah, sure, they're my sponsors, but to be honest with you, I've been using Fiverr since pretty much day one of me being in self-publishing, right around 2014. And ever since, I've used them in some capacity, whether it's book covers, interior formatting, book marketing and promotion. Well, here's the good news. There's actually a new influencer program. So if you've got anywhere from 5,000 followers or more, then chances are very likely Fiverr wants to talk to you about this. Now, let me share just a little bit of this screen here. Turn your influence into income by leading your followers to Fiverr. Join the growing army of influencers that are cashing in on commission by promoting the world's largest marketplace for digital services. You get higher commissions, you get Fiverr credits. Okay, so a lot of people probably wonder when I'm doing some of these sponsored videos, like, Dale, do you have to pay for any of those gigs out of pocket? Nope, Fiverr covers it. That's really the beauty of working with Fiverr. I love working with them. They also say go viral. I don't know about going viral, but they'll also give promo codes and things like that. But here's the really cool thing. So let me just share some of these stats here with you. If you are doing video, if you have 5,000 plus subscribers, you could do one dedicated video. The term for that is 1 month. You get a fixed CPA, which means that anytime a cost per acquisition, you get $30 and you can get up to $300 in Fiverr credits. Oh, what? Yeah. And this scales up to 20,000 subscribers and 50,000 subscribers. So you want more information about that? Go over and visit dalelinks.com/influencer. Yes, this is a referral link. And that means if you've got any of those followings, go ahead. I know that that's probably a fraction of the people that listen to this podcast or watch it, but it's something probably for you to shoot for. So definitely take a look at it, apply it, because the worst they can tell you is no. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, eventually they'll probably want to have you on board. All right, let's slow this train down just a little bit because I want to talk a little bit more about something super serious here. And this is the part of the self-publishing news that I really wanted to focus on. And I'm going to share this information with you with the expectation that I'm coming to you from a neutral standpoint, that I absolutely love this company. Beyond loving them, like, I have to be super realistic with what has been discovered. So this was this past week that a good friend of mine and also a former guest here on the podcast, Nate Hoffelder, actually pointed out something. Did you hear what Findaway Voices is doing? Now, Findaway Voices is the audiobook distribution platform that I gush about. Their terms of service forces authors to grant Apple the right to train artificial intelligence on the author's audiobooks. Fun fact, the author doesn't possess those rights. The narrators do. So that means that, this is what he's saying. There was something inside Findaway Voices terms of service that dates back to June of 2020. And if you've agreed anytime since then you've agreed to this. Let me read just a little bit about what it says here, because actually I have some of the links to this and you can read it for yourself. Rights holders grant Apple a limited, non-exclusive, non-transferable, non-sub-licensable right and license to use audiobook files for machine learning, training, and models, provided that in no event shall any rights holder audiobooks or a portion thereof be provided to any third party or end user in contravention of this digital distribution agreement. If, for example, making rights holder content available for free to end users without express written consent. Rights holders may revoke this right and license by sending notice to Findaway as outlined in Section 11. So let me just break this down to you. If you've agreed any time in the past to any of the TOS that Findaway Voices puts, inside your dashboard for distribution, then you've essentially agreed to this. And I will be the first one to say this, that I think I've gotten lazy. I've gotten complacent because I'm a big fanboy of Findaway Voices. I'm a huge fanboy. Love what they do. And I always felt that they were super transparent. Now, one could make the argument that they were being transparent by putting in the agreement. But I feel like further transparency for something like this requires an upfront thing, like inside an email. Hey, just to let you know, we've got this new Apple audiobook AI thing that's involved, and your audiobook could be put into this. I think that is the type of transparency I've come to expect from Findaway Voices. Maybe, just maybe I missed that notification. But if you've been following this podcast for the past few years, you know that I've shared so much about Findaway Voices. And this is where it kind of either disappoints me either I'm disappointed in myself for not seeing something like that or reading the terms of service, or I'm disappointed in the fact that Findaway didn't tell all the account holders about a situation like this. Because I work with narrators whose voices I do not own. And so these audiobooks that were put through Apple are being used to train their artificial intelligence for the automated voice narration that just rolled out recently. That really just kind of upsets me. I don't mind so much that my voice has been put into it because I've narrated some of my audiobooks. I'm okay with that, but I'm not okay with the fact that other narrators that I've worked with and I've distributed books through Findaway Voices with their voice on this is being used to train AI, and we're not getting compensated. We weren't even allowed to give consent to them. That part bothers me. Now, I've had a couple people weigh in. Obviously, a lot of people are freaking out. I would say, calm down. Don't freak out. I did put out an APB over to Findaway Voices. I reached out to the head of Findaway Voices in Will Dagus, and he actually got me in touch with someone today, but I don't have an official comment from them. I don't have anything on the record books yet to sit down and get a comment from them. But I anticipate that they're going to comment in some capacity and let us know where they stand on something like this. Because I think that it's a rather egregious mistake if they just baked it into their terms of service and expected all account holders to look at it. It reminds me of the old South Park episode where someone had agreed to the terms of service on Apple, using their phone, and then it turned into the human centipede thing. And oh my gosh, I feel like a schmuck myself for not sitting down and reading all this stuff and seeing this. Because on the opposite side of things, I seen a good friend of mine over Drafted Digital, Kevin Tomlinson, as well as a good buddy of mine, Michael Laron, weigh in. They're like, hey, it's not a big deal. This was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Why is this becoming an issue? Because I didn't read the terms of service. And that's on me. That's 100% on me. I feel like Findaway Voices could have done a better job in communicating such an important point, because even though I'm the rights holder, all right, the narrator that is doing the voiceover work for me does not consent to something like that. They consent to distribution, but then using something like their voice to train AI without their consent, that bothers me. It makes me look bad. I'm the one with the egg on my face, because now I'm the schmuck who didn't read the agreements. So don't feel like the sky is falling. Don't feel like you should remove distribution from Findaway Voices. They're still a fantastic company. I've heard a couple people speculate. They're like, it's Spotify. No, it was before Spotify came along and bought their company. It was already inside their agreement back in 2020, and it still is to this day. So I want to kind of scale this back a little bit. I want to take a nice deep breath because we're going to finish on a couple of really good notes here for today's self-publishing news. So the very first one actually comes from the fine folks over at Urban Writers. Now, I've actually talked about the Urban Writers previously here on this podcast, but I think it's important that we go back and discuss them just a little bit more. Previously, the Urban Writers was just primarily a ghostwriting platform, but it has evolved over the years. And I've known the founders, both Marco and Natasha Motino, and I know that this is their passion. This is what they love to do. And they've been building an amazing service that's not just about ghostwriting. In fact, some of their services include book bundles, book descriptions, children's book packages, fiction book packages, nonfiction book packages, SEO articles, narration, content translation, cover designs, editing, illustrations, and guess what? Before, when you would work with the Urban Writer, they would assign somebody to you. But now they're starting to pivot to where it's going to be an open marketplace, to where you could work with people that you specifically want to work with through the Urban Writers. So in their words, and let me go ahead and share with you what they said inside their email more recently. Amazing new features dropping this year. Of all things we loved about 2022, our customers topped the list. We wanted to ensure you get a chance to grab your content creation at the 2022 pricing before our annual increase. Kickstart your self-publishing goals and take advantage of this never-to-be-repeated pricing. As of March 15th, 2023, pricing will increase by 10% on all products. Let me go further and tell you what they said. As a longtime valued customer, you know we love to keep building and creating tools and features that make your content creation journey easy and stress-free. Our next release, an amazing new tool called Dibbly Create, will make the content collaboration process even better with more fantastic things coming as the year progresses. The fun doesn't stop there. We're working to improve the layout and design, including customizable dashboards to track your projects with ease. So big shout out to the Motinos, fantastic couple over there. They've built such an amazing business here with the Urban Writers. I've used their services before for book cover design. And yes, this is not a sponsored spot. They did not pay me for anything like this. In fact, I'm not even going to give you an affiliate link at this point. Go check out theurbanwriters.com before they go ahead and jack up their prices 10%. You will thank me later on if you need any of those type of things done for you. And let's go ahead and move on to another piece. This actually came over from Drafted Digital too as well. Authors Guild is going to be doing a survey here about income. So if you're interested in participating in appreciation of your time, you'll be able to enter a thank you drawing for one of $150 Visa gift cards. Thank you again for your help and support. I will leave a link to something like this. Authors Guild is a very reputable resource. In fact, a longtime follower here of this channel just recently became a member of the Authors Guild. That's Kathy Mankin. Big shout out to Kathy. It was really cool to see Authors Guild brought up here. So make sure that you go and do that survey. Do it once, folks. Just do it once, because Drafted Digital even said if you already did it once, don't do it another time. Just going in and trying to work for the giveaway, that's another scumbag move. All right, and I want to wrap up today's podcast news with a very fun little thing here presented by Derek Murphy. Now, if you're not familiar with Derek Murphy, he's got a fantastic YouTube channel. I'm still a huge fanboy of Derek's work. He puts a lot of long-form content. Derek is like a mad genius, man. He comes out with so much great stuff. In fact, he actually has, I think, a site called DIYbookcovers.com. It's a 100% free resource that you can learn how to do book covers through his course. And he also has, I think, some 3D rendering that you can do on his website as well. Well, he just rolled out a new service called SheLovesPoems.com. I freaking love this. So if you want to create any type of poems, all you have to do is put in the prompts to whom you're going to do it for. Who do you want to write it to? What's the occasion? What's your style? What's your tone? And what language is it going to be in? And it spits out a really fun thing. The part that I love the most, all of you Star Trek nerds are going to freaking love this. It will do a poem in Klingon. Get out of here. Shut up. That's just awesome. I think nothing says I love you like, Klingon. Kafla! So at any rate, as we start to wrap up today's podcast, folks, remember, as per usual, I do have the video on demand service with over 100 videos and hours of footage about self-publishing. And you can get that all for $9.99 per month. Start it whenever you want, cancel whenever you like. I'm going to be rolling out some new videos here, pretty much every week, but I actually have a new series that's going to be coming out that is going to cover Amazon KDP for beginners. I know it's been a long time in the making, but we are really working hard behind the scenes here at Self-Publishing with Dale. Again, you're going to go to theselfpublishinghub.com to get yourself signed up. Again, you got to remember because we are theselfpublishinghub.com. What'd you think about today's news items? Was there any particular piece of news that you enjoyed the most? I definitely would love to hear from you.